seeking a 5,000-pound investment to create a drug detector that has the ability to end date rape forever. So I'm going to take you on a journey from a massive social problem to a solution with your help. And so the problem that we're working to solve is how can we eradicate rape from the planet? It's a massive issue with the general lack of solution. It's something that spreads across our planet and impacts on average, according to the World Health Organization, 1 in every 3 women. But what is the major driver of this? Well, major driver of this is date rape, and specifically in college. 1 in 4 women report that they've been impacted by this. 1 in 10 UK students, so this is males and females, and 1 in 13 US students report that they've been drugged at least once in their lifetime. The solution, there's been a number of companies that have tried to solve it, but they've yet to be able to do that. They've tried to create cups that test for it, detection kits. A couple girls created a straw, an actual physical device, nail polish, and then another apparatus, of which most don't go to market, and those that do go to market generally lack the traction that is required. And I'll talk through this in a few more slides. But through my interviews of hundreds of students at UCL, dozens of bars, online experiments, and working through School of Management faculty, it's all boiled down to 3 major components that produce an effective solution. That being superior tech, so something that actually works. And ironically, most of the products that the competitors have tried to create don't actually work, and that's why they failed. Convenient. This is where all of the products have failed, because they're not convenient to the market environment that they're in. And then the final one is the social factor, and this is more of the cherry on top. And I'll break that down a little bit. But so the question is, in an environment, what does it actually look like? And so Hollywood begins to kind of give us an idea of what that environment actually is. Now, whether this is actually the environment that most people are in is more or less irrelevant, but the effective solution needs to cater towards the environment that the student is in. And that being that there's 3 major components of that. First, it needs to actually detect for date rape drugs that are in someone's drink. But most importantly, it needs to be adaptive into the environment. So this is something that's convenient. So it needs to be something that people are actually going to use and are able to use it in the environment. And then the last piece is the fun factor. And this is the factor that it needs to be something where somebody says, I want to use it, as opposed to something that I have to use. And so we got our inspiration for our idea off of a company that creates these cubes. They're electrical devices that when they touch liquid, they turn neon color. It's more for the aesthetics, but this is where the idea came from. And since we've created a biosensor, what it does is it combines biological technology with an electrical-based device. And so this is a duck, and the reason I use the duck is there's a bar on the East Coast. Their top-selling drink is a martini with the duck inside of it. And so our detection-based system is quite small, and it can go inside of quite literally any kind of 3D printed device we want. So in this case, it's a duck. And so the way that it works is when it's placed into the drink, it glows bright green. But if it comes in contact with any date rape drug, it instantly changes to bright red, like letting you know that you wouldn't be able to drink this drink. And this thing, based upon its size, we could put it in quite literally any kind of device that would cater towards a specific environment that it's in. And the reason this is possible is my co-founder as well as our connections. So my co-founder is getting his PhD in chemistry at Yale. This is quite literally exactly what he's working on. We have leveraged our connections through UCL as well as Yale School of Management. Right now, tomorrow, we're actually finalizing a deal with Cleo Pharmaceuticals. They're a $100 million pharmaceutical company. We'd be able to use their laboratory for free. I'm also working with a local company in engineering. So there's really 3 main factors with this device. Is the biotech that we've created. There's the electrical housing that it's in, and that would be working with this partner here. And then the final overall 3D printed device that we would put it in, that could be tailored towards a specific market. I've also had conversations with executives at Smirnoff. This is more validation than anything, but they're very interested in the idea of once we have it finalized. So in terms of funding and timeline, right now we're in phase 1. So about 2 weeks back, we had a fundamental breakthrough in our biosensor. So this is quite literally the most high-tech sensor that could literally be in the market. We've run a number of tests to validate that it actually works. And right now we need about 4,000 to 5,000 pounds to be able to produce the final prototype. Once that's done, we're taking it over to our partners that we have for phase 2 that would be creating the tech for it. So that would be the biosensor is the fundamental tester that then would go flip on the lights, so the green and red light. And then phase 3 would be our go-to-market. We have a number of connections through Las Vegas as well as UCL and over on the East Coast as well. And so the overall point is this is the device that is the most high-tech device that could quite literally eradicate date rape from the market given its current technology. So I guess I'll open up to any questions.
questions for you. One, which drugs are you detecting?
All of them.
What do you know?
So one of the fundamental problems of most of these detectors, so Undercover Colors was funded for $8.1 million, and they spent most of it on the nail polish, which is a good idea, but they're being held up by the FDA, plus it doesn't actually test for all the drugs. One of the major benefits that we have is nobody's ever been able to, or tried to do this from a biotech perspective, mostly because there was a fundamental breakthrough in 2017 that makes this possible. And so we are able to, in the most inexpensive way, test for every single date rape drug that's in the market. Most of these, if not all of these, only test for a third of them.
So then, what is your cost for your rubber duck?
So our cost, ours is going to be the cheapest. We originally started with the idea of a straw. We tried really hard to make the straw, but fundamentally it's really not going to work. Plus, if you could do it, it'd be massively expensive. We've gone through a number of different consultants over at Yale School of Medicine. The cost right now we're estimating it'll be about 20 cents landed, which is insanely cheap compared to anything else that could be out there. This one is really the only one that's on the market. If you buy 10 of these, you can get them for $4.50. You have to spend it's $45. It's a one-time use. So what you do is you dip your finger in the drink. You touch on there, wait 30 seconds, there's 2 lines or 1 line, so essentially pregnancy test, and then you throw it away. Obviously it's inconvenient and it doesn't continually monitor the drink. Ours would.
And yours is not a one-time use, you use it.
Ours would work the entire night, and what we're doing is we're working on the sustainability of it. So the duct, for example, the housing that it's in, and again, this could be anything, that would be reusable, and then the sensor could be taken in and out, but essentially it would work for about 3 to 4 hours.
And how much are you selling the product for? So the cost is 30 cents, right? So how much are you planning to sell it for?
Yeah, so the cost would be 20 cents, and using a benchmark for Undercover Colors, we could easily sell it for $4.50. Right now we're working through, so B2C, I have a lot of experience selling online. So B2C would be an interesting market, but more interesting for us, what we're doing is we're working through Las Vegas contacts. So how can we get this into massive hotels, as well as bars and nightclubs that are around like university areas. So our strategy is to roll it out similar to how Facebook would. So you would get the momentum behind students in a certain area and push that out to like bars and nightclubs. And in conversations I've had, they would buy this outright. It's difficult because we don't actually have the final product to talk through the numbers, but we could very easily sell this for $4.50 and it would cost us 20 cents.
For the inclusion point, because I'm colorblind, so I can't tell the difference between green and red. Is it going to be a product which will flash if it's spiked?
That's one of the beautiful parts about this is these are all stagnant, like that they can only do one thing. Ours, because it's a technical device, could do quite literally whatever we want. We could even have it make noise. Probably wouldn't, but we can make the color anything we want. We can make it as bright or as dull. And so one of the benefits of it is right now we're targeting the fun factor, but this is something that you could put inside of a stir stick, and you can make it super subtle so most people would know about it, but we can change the color, we can make it do anything because it's actually a technical device. And the most beautiful part about this is the biosensor of it. It makes this entire thing possible. This is something that is literally a fundamental breakthrough, and we own the entire rights to it. And so we just need a small amount of money to be able to take that and push that through our engineering contacts to be able to actually finalize the product. But that's actually the easy part. In our conversations, that should be done in a couple months. And so that's like why we're here. We need the money to be able to actually finalize this. And by the way, we're really good at scaling lean. We've spent $0 up to this point. Because most of the time, when you sit in a room with somebody, you're saying, I'm trying to solve a real problem, they give you resources for free.
I have another question. So are you patenting, or is there any cost set aside for legal in your timeline?
Yep. Yeah. So we would patent this before we move forward. We've talked to a number of lawyers. It was nice of them to work for free, but they suggest that we patent as opposed to signing NDAs. And so that would cost a little bit. The most important bit of this, though, would be the 4,000 to 5,000 pounds would allow us to move forward with our strategic partners, but we would be patenting at the same time. So they would sign NDAs, so we don't need it at that point. It's more of a strategic move because once you patent something, then the world knows about it.
Have you planned to sell it on retail? Like, have you talked to any major supermarkets or like anything to put it on the stores, like on the shelves as well?
Yeah, we haven't talked to, so again, this idea is about 2.5 months ago. We ran with this super fast, and this massive breakthrough is why we're able to really push forward on this. We haven't talked to stores. I've talked to a ton of clubs and bars, as well as festivals. And so that would be more of our market. But again, we're trying to be super niche and we're trying to be super focused with who our early adopters are and really leverage the university and what's specifically around that to be able to push it out first.
Yeah, 5 seconds.
Thanks.
Thank you.